Hey guys, it's Andy Petranek and I'm back for another video, long form video. You know, I've been thinking, the videos so far have been, this project has been really cool, but I've been thinking it pulls me away a lot from the kind of videos I was doing before, which were very inner focused, and they brought you in with me as I was exploring these topics myself. And I realized I've kind of gotten away from that. And I want to, and some of you may not even know that that's what I used to do. On Instagram, I would do these short videos where I was very in it with you. And on YouTube, I've kind of gotten away from that. And I want to get back to that. So I'm going to try to do this video today a little bit differently than I've done the last several. But I want to continue on the conversation that the topics that we've been covering so far. We covered 2 videos ago. We covered triggers, and how triggers are really about areas that confine you. Right? They happen because of automatic meanings that you have created about yourself, and they are anchored in the desire to protect yourself. And there's a sudden urge to do something or say something when you get triggered, and you do it or say it, and usually it's outwardly pointed, and it can lead to trouble in your life. And that was 2 videos ago. We talked about those triggers, and in the last video, we talked about fixing. When we realize we have a problem and we try to fix it. And one of the things we talked about that we discussed about that is how the idea that there is actually something to fix is the source of the problem. What if there's nothing to fix? What if there's nothing broken? And what if by the time you notice you think there's something to fix, the system is already on autopilot, it's too late. You're already down the road. And these are awarenesses by slowing down. One of the ways to slow down is through meditation. Another way is through breath work. Another way is through somatic work. That's why so many of the spiritual masters will talk about slowing down the speed of your thinking so that you can start to unwind these things and see these things, which is one of the things I've been doing over the past 5 or 6 years. Longer than that, but prior to 5 or 6 years ago, I was really dancing around it. And now, in the last 5 or 6 years, I've been really diving into it. And in today's video, I want to talk about the idea that the structure of the problem with a solution or a fix, what if that's all the same structure? What if the idea of trying to fix something is what keeps it alive? It's like a fix is a solution in search of a problem. And the problem keeps it in business, and vice versa. You know, I notice this around money a lot for me. And it's always been that way, no matter how much money I've made and no matter how little money I'm making, or no matter how consistent my income, or no matter how fluctuating my income. And I've always taken the approach that I need to change something about my approach to money. And now what I'm starting to question is, because it's never changed. It's always been a source. It's always been a trigger, and it's always been something that I felt like I needed to fix. And so what if, this is the question that I've been pondering, what if what if the participation in the conversation about my problem with, let's say, money, is the fact that I'm participating in the conversation about money, that there's something to fix? What if opposing it is the thing that's holding it in place? You know, I see that in the world. I've been a football fan my whole life. I was going to say my adult life, but really my whole life. And you know, in the world of football, it wouldn't be much of a game if there was only an offense or if there was only a defense. You have to have an offense on one side and a defense on the other side, and they both have to be in place, playing the game together in order for there to be a game. The sides create the game. And you know, it's also pretty obvious to me that that's the case with cops and criminals. We wouldn't have a need for cops if there weren't criminals, and we wouldn't have a need for criminals if there weren't cops. I mean, think about it. Pluribus, the show Pluribus explores this, right? If there's a hive mind, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk a little bit about Pluribus. So if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, you might want to not listen to this stretch. If everyone in the world is doing things for the betterment of one another, then there wouldn't be someone who did something to hurt someone else. So there'd be no need for laws. There'd be no need for rules. There'd be no need for enforcement of rules. There'd be no need for jails. There'd be no need for, because there wouldn't be anybody doing things that were not beneficial for the collective whole. So the purpose of this video is to start to explore and to think through creating space from the problem itself, in order to see it. Because, you know, here's the other thing: as human beings, we can't get out of the predicament we're in, right? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And as human beings, we are, we have a certain operating system, that we have a certain mechanism. We have a prefrontal cortex. We operate a certain way. We think a certain way. We think, period. We think. And we can't turn off our ego's obsession with protecting and controlling. It's just what it does. And rather than fighting it, calling it bad or wrong, what if we were better able to see it by inviting it to the table, giving it a place at the dinner table, and asking it questions. Hey, what are you here for? What are you doing? What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to communicate? And is that useful right now? Do I really need that right now? And seeing what happens. I don't know. I just thought of that in this moment. You know, what if the things that we've thought were the enemies they're not really the enemy? I mean, we've talked about that in previous videos. It's not the enemy. It's actually the solution to the problem that we were having. Whether you're addicted to sex or drugs or alcohol or shopping or gambling or work or exercise, when you first started doing whatever it is you do, it began as a solution to a problem that you were experiencing. And the problem you were experiencing was some version of not enoughness, not safe, not unworthy, don't belong. And this helped you with that. And then it takes on its own life. You know, some of you guys know that I've been cold plunging now for 2.5 years, and I do it probably out of a 30-day month. Maybe I'll do it 25 days. It's pretty much daily practice. And one of the things I've realized in doing this is what I get to play with this somatic experience of, holy shit, get me out of this water, when I first get in the water. And the very first time I did it, it was I wanted to pay attention. I wanted to actually get the hell out of Dodge. One time I did. I probably, like the third or fourth time I ever cold plunged, I was the hell out of that water. But what I found is resistance to the cold creates panic. It's when I settle into a state of not opposed. So I'm not resisting the sensation. I'm actually relaxing into the sensation and learning to trust myself in the state of, holy shit, this is really fucking cold and I want to get out of here. It's not that the water changes or the coldness changes, or it's my relationship to it that changes. And presence is very much the same way, right? Presence has nothing to do with fixing, has nothing to do with enduring. It has nothing to do with changing something or removing the opposition. Presence is just being present to it, seeing it, welcoming it. If we go back to the example of the football game, what if the defense suddenly said, hey guys, I hope you complete a long pass on this next play. We're gonna leave that guy open and let you go. I want to see what you can do. There'd be no more fight. And I've been really wondering if that is what I've been searching for. You know, what if the thing that I've been fighting only exists because I'm fighting it? And this is what question I'm asking myself, but in this inquiry, I would encourage you to ask yourself the same question. What if the thing you're fighting only exists because you're fighting it? I'm going to leave you with that question, and I'll be back soon with another video. All right. See you guys. Happy New Year.